Hello and welcome to this week's ITT Future You. And a lot of you have connected with me on LinkedIn, and sometimes when we've seen each other in person, you've been asking, "So Jenny, what is it you do?" So I thought, well, rather than sit here and give you a verbal CV of what I do, why not turn this into something that might motivate you? Now, what I thought would be a really great idea that would serve you as an ITT Future You member, as somebody who might be studying still, somebody who might be well into their career and maybe you've pivoted, or maybe somebody who is looking to make positive changes within the travel industry, I thought I would run a little mini series on being visible. But I still hope that it will be really inspiring to you. So, without any further ado, let me start and share part one. And remember, not only to come back next week, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and tell a friend. Ask a friend to come over to the ITTU Future You, sorry, the ITT Future You, I put in a few too many words there, YouTube channel, and make sure that they subscribe too. It's really great to buddy up and be able to speak to people about what you're doing. So, first things first, I'm going to give you a little sneaky peek, I guess, behind the ways to make high impact visibility. And this isn't something that's just reserved for celebrities. It's not something that's just reserved for people who already have a massive following or audience. And it's not reserved for people who are extroverted. I know that there's this whole thing that you need to be extroverted. And if you're introverted, you can't be visible. Not true. I know that you could be led to believe that as an Instagram influencer with thousands of followers and thousands of people, that you might be best positioned to be visible. Again, that's not true either. In fact, now is the time for you to be visible. Whether you're a business owner, whether you're a student, whether you're an employee, whether you're a high impact professional, it's time for you to be visible and be ready to be seen, ready to be heard, and ready to be memorable. Put yourself out there and go and be visible. So, what are we going to talk about today? I'm just going to position the topic of visibility for you, just in case this is the first time you've landed on the ITT Future You channel, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and whether it's your first time of even hearing this message about visibility. Here's what I would love you to do. I would love you to think of yourself differently. I would love for you to think about the person you are and what you do, the value that you bring, the value that you might bring to the organization or the role, or the value that you bring where you really enjoy everything about your work and what you do. So, without any further ado, I'm just going to grab my notes that's sitting over here, and let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing is, why is visibility even important? Now, whether you're looking for a promotion, a pay rise, a change in career, to have more recognition, to be more visible within the industry or your organization, there are multiple different ways. I'm not going to lie, there's lots and lots of different ways for you to be seen. But the best part of being visible is being seen in your way. So there are a couple of things that you'll need to consider right up front. And here's the biggest one. Whenever I speak to live audiences, I let them know that actually it's no good just being good at what you do. Yes, of course, study hard, hone your craft, own your area and zones of genius, and be great at what you do. But that alone isn't enough to have you be professionally visible in a way that raises your profile. And on top of that, being great at what you do and then having a brilliant reputation, being known in the industry, and just kind of hoping that somebody somewhere will see you one day, hoping that you'll make your mark one day, isn't enough either. In fact, to be truly seen and heard, you have to be in the top percentage of people who are highly visible. Now, in order to do that, the good news is you don't need to be seen everywhere. But here's what's important. Knowing how you want to be visible or what's important to the people around you is what really, really matters. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to get started, and I would love you to come back to the subsequent videos so that you can see a little bit more. This is part one. Have a look for part two, which will be out every Monday, but have a look for part two, and that will show you more of how you can be seen. So I'm just opening up some notes of things that I wanted to share with you. So I'm just pulling those up now. So now you know why it's important to be visible and what visibility is and isn't. So being in that top percentage and not being in the people that are just hoping you'll get noticed somewhere, someday, somehow. Here's what being visible can do for you. It can mean that you're invited to speak more within your organization or industry. It could mean that you're given opportunities to do more things that have you stand out and raise your professional profile throughout your career. For some people, especially those of you in travel who might be in charge of your own business, maybe you're a founder, maybe you're a CEO, or maybe you are the person that is responsible for running the ship. Whichever that is for you, this series will really help you to be able to go that little bit further and higher than even you thought was possible. You can always make a positive impact on people. So I'll share as much as I can in the time I've got. Just to introduce myself, for those of you who have never heard of me before, my name's Jenny Kovacs, as it says on there. I'm a visibility queen. In fact, I'm known internationally as the Queen of Being Seen. I've been doing this for well over 12 years. And the reason I do it is because I'm passionate about people being able to put themselves out there in a confident way, with credibility, in a way that has them more visible. There are a number of different ways that you can do that, and I'll talk to you about that as we go through the series. So, first things first, have a plan of when you want this more visibility by, when you want to be at the place by. Now, for some people, genuinely, they'll talk to me and they'll say, Jenny, I need that to happen by next week. And that's fine. But for you, you might be putting together a plan that could be a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, by the end of the year, in a year's time. You might even have a 3 to 5 year plan that might tie in with the studies that you're doing, a project that you're working on, a company that you're with. But the first thing is decide how you want to move forward, decide how you mean to go on. And people that have worked with me in the past, whether they've been individual or organizations, have all had one thing in common. They want to think differently about being visible. They want people to think differently about their work, and they want to stand out. So some of the things that might be under the surface could be that you want more people to feel empowered by the work you do. It could be that you need to give or put out more information about the thing that you do. It could be that there's a public perception of you that isn't what you'd quite like it to be. So from a term of personal branding or professional branding, you or your organization want to be seen differently. It could be that you need to be visible because you're having slightly more difficult conversations than the average person or the average company. It could be that you want to be the lighthouse that everybody looks to and leans to and focuses and travels to when they need your help. You might be a non-profit, or you might be something like an events industry who put out a lot of different events in a lot of different places internationally, and you want people to see you and get what you do. It could be that you want to be visible because you need to sell yourself, sell your products, sell your services, or sell a concept or an idea. Whatever that is, get really clear on what that means for you. So next week, we'll come back and we'll talk about failing to plan is planning to fail and what could happen. We'll go into that, but I'd really like you to go back and reflect over the questions that I've asked in this week's video. Where do you want to be, and where do you want to be in a specific time scale. Is it a year, 6 months, a week, or something else? Now, this is one where conferring with your friends actually won't help. Conferring with colleagues won't help. These are the sorts of conversations that you might be talking about in appraisals, whether you're running the appraisal or being appraised. But when you can get really clear, it makes putting your plan together much easier, and it makes navigating the direction of your goals even more easier. So I look forward to sharing that with you next week. And if you're feeling brave, by all means, put a comment below. If you want to whisper in my ear, then find me over on LinkedIn. I'm most active there. And send me a message, connect with me. Don't just follow me, connect with me, send me a message, and I'd love to hear what you're up to in the world. I won't share it. That's between you and us. Thank you so much for this week. And remember to follow the ITT Future You. You can follow them on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. So go to your favorite platform and see them there. And I'll see you for part 2 next week. Bye for now.